is the Chattahoochee River and the streams that feed it. Georgia is the Appalachian Mountains and the forests that cover them. The coastal marshlands and the barrier islands that buffer them. Georgia is a natural treasure. And you are the people who care. You are the Georgia Conservancy. Because of you, the natural beauty of Georgia is here for all of us, and for those still to come.
You've got to go back and find out what's here. Historic resources, archaeological resources, natural resources. You've got to find out what's fragile, what's resilient, before you do your planning.
Sweetwater Creek, 1967. Environmental consciousness in the country was just awakening, and here at Sweetwater, a handful of Georgians came together and founded a conservation group solely dedicated to protecting the state of Georgia. They were led by a persuasive young congressman named James Mackey. Lucy Cabot Smethurst was there that day.
He made it tangible. He gave you a sense of what you could be, what you could do as one person, as a group of people, to begin to bring light and shine light upon these invaluable places all over the state.
According to Jack Izzard, a founding member of the Georgia Conservancy, the organization found success by bringing environmental concerns to the table early on to encourage sound business decisions that were also good for the environment. Today, the face of Georgia would look very different had it not been for these founders who had the vision and the commitment to create the Georgia Conservancy.
I think it was a very astute insight on the part of the founders to say we want to have a professional staff running an organization that is science-based but fuses this vision of the beauty of Georgia with the pragmatism of how do we actually make these things happen in the real world.
And they did make things happen.
Well, the Georgia Conservancy was involved at some level or another in protecting most all of the barrier islands.
For instance, they stopped a plan that would have developed Cumberland Island beyond recognition. Because they cared. Cumberland Island, the last coastal maritime wilderness on the eastern seaboard, is today preserved much the way it was 40 years ago. Only 300 people per day are allowed onto its still pristine shores, accessible only by ferry from the mainland. For 40 years, your activities have formed an ecosystem of collaboration that has preserved the irreplaceable.
Through the Blueprints for Successful Communities program, you've given a seat at the planning table to the local communities that make up the human fabric of Georgia's unique environment. Like the historic African-American community of Sandfly.
When this all first started with Sandfly being bombarded with all this development, you know, we would come and just sit in the churches and pray.
Bless the Sandfly Betterment Association.
Sandfly is one such place where the Georgia Conservancy guided residents in how to temper development by presenting their own strategic plan for growth to government officials.
You had the tenacity to stay with it, which gave me the drive to stick with it. So I'd just like to tell you again that I appreciate everything you've done for the community, for me, and for everyone else that's out here.
Herbert Kemp and Carol Page Johnson, with the Georgia Conservancy's support, shepherded the crafting of Sandfly's plan.
Thank you, Carol.
It gave us the groundwork or the basis for getting started to study and learn how to preserve what we have.
Though they lost out to an overscale Walmart store, this tight-knit community now has a blueprint for managing their future.
And we were able to take that downtown to the Chatham County Commissioners, the City Council, and the Metropolitan Planning Commission and say, okay, here's what we have from the Georgia Conservancy, a blueprint. And if you can help us make it look like this, this is our goal.
The landscape of Georgia continues to change. As growth accelerates, so too does the need to protect our wilderness, our water, and our air. Through you, the Georgia Conservancy is leading the next generation to be environmental champions.
All that's glycerin. The methyl alcohol is starting to boil, so we need to pour in more cooking oil.
The Youth Environmental Symposium is a statewide contest that encourages young people to solve environmental problems in their own backyards. Recent winners from Tift County High School made biodiesel to run a donated tractor.
It goes into this pantyhose, and then all the particles, like the stuff that ain't biodiesel, gets caught up in there, and then the biodiesel fills up in the bottom.
They made the biodiesel from the school cafeteria's used cooking oil.
Using this cooking oil that we get for free, we can make the biodiesel for about 30 cents a gallon. That's $3 difference there.
What is an alternative fuel?
The winning student's teacher says their project not only impressed the state judges, but also inspired local farmers and truckers to make their own biodiesel.
I've had students who spoke to civic organizations. Another student spoke to the Rotary Club on our project. And so they have gone out and kind of talked about what they're doing too.
The homemade fuel is also very low in pollutants. And not only that,
when it burns in the engine, exhaust will smell like whatever was cooked in the oil.
These young people are your future.
You have another choice.
And the future of the Georgia Conservancy. Through the relationships you've built, you've strengthened the ties that connect us all with each other, with our community, and with our natural world. You are the Georgia Conservancy. To gauge your impact, consider this. 10 of Georgia's 14 barrier islands are protected, and Georgia has 1/3 of the remaining coastal marshlands on the entire East Coast. And Sweetwater Creek? It's now a state park for Georgia's people and her visitors to enjoy. Because of you.
The energy was so creative. I mean, there's nothing like a young organization that gets in there and just starts, and everybody is so anxious to make a contribution, and it was joyous. That's what it was. It was joyous.
To gauge your challenge, consider this. The unrelenting quest for just one more urban outpost.
If you want to engage the imagination of people, you have to be very timely. You have to try to figure out what the issues of tomorrow are that is going to light up the sky and say the Conservancy was first there. We want to be part of it.
You can make a difference in your world and your community.
You are the people who care. You are today's Georgia Conservancy. And without you, Georgia would be a very different place.